like to call to order the Monday, April 20th, 2026 meeting of the Currituck County Board of Commissioners. At 5:30, we had a work session for the Board of Equalization and Review. At this time, I would ask Pastor Ken Robinson from Mount Zion United Methodist to lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Eternal God, we come before you this evening in prayer that you would be present here this night. Keep us attentive to your will for this county in Northeast North Carolina. Lord, make your face shine upon our commissioners as they seek to make determinations that pertain to the people, the residents of this region. Be gracious to us through them. Additionally, Lord, we ask for your healing hand to fall upon Owen Etheridge, a commissioner suffering from health issues. And we pray that your presence during this meeting will be unmistakable, as you are with us wherever we go and in whatever we do. We pray as well that this meeting focuses upon the plans for our people and the overall benefits to our communities. Let the actions and decisions in this meeting be valuable to our general purpose, which is to build up and edify one another through the call of community. In our Lord's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Robinson. Next is our ethics awareness. We'll have the county attorney will share that with us.
Pursuant to GS 153A-44, a commissioner has a duty to vote on matters coming before the board, but may be excused from voting on issues involving the commissioner's own financial interest, official conduct, or on matters on which the commissioner is prohibited from voting under GS 14-234 or 160D-109. In accordance with Chapter 2, Division 3 of the Currituck County Code of Ordinances, it is the duty of every commissioner to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict. Does any commissioner have any known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before the Board of Commissioners in this meeting? If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict.
Anyone?
I got to work the fireworks show for free, but I don't think that would qualify.
No, that doesn't qualify. Next item is approval of agenda. We have some amendments that Commissioner Jarvis is going to add.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to approve the agenda with the following amendments. Under board appointments, item 2B, appoint Brooke Mayo to the Tourism Advisory Board, and add to the consent agenda an amendment to the contract to audit accounts, Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, approve submittal of Parks and Recreation Trust Fund Grant Application Phase 3, Currituck Community Park, and add to budget amendments number 20260077 to receive Veteran Affairs Grants Funds.
We have a motion for approval of amendments. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is public.
Kevin's quick.
If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby.
Next on the agenda, we have public comment. We have two people signed up. First, we have Mr. Joe Hobbs. Come forward, sir. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, good evening. Joe Hobbs, let me see where I live. 278 Northwest Backwoods Road, Moyock, NC, 27958. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm back here for the fourth time on the same issue here. That issue I think y'all are working on, but it's the 3-year anniversary of what I'm about to talk about tonight. And the subject and need of concern is adequate fire protection at northwest area of Moyock. For over 3 years, myself and other citizens living in the northwest community of Moyock have addressed, approached, and petitioned the past board and the present board of commissioners about the urgent need to improve fire protection in our community. I have attended 3 previous meetings, and tonight will be 4. And it's the 3-year anniversary of bringing this to the board's attention. First met April 17, 2023. Following year, March 18, 2024, petitioned the past Board of Commissioners. March 3rd, 2025, petitioned the present board here, with the exception of Mr. Breathwaite. But anyway, we'll go further into that later, please. And tonight I'm here again just to talk about this subject because, as you know, it's big on my mind here, and I'd like to see something done because it needs to be done in our community. Our ISO rating in Northwest Community of Moyock has the worst rating in Currituck County when it comes to fire protection. What is a ISO rating? People in here, let me see if I can define what an ISO rating is. The ISO rating is a evaluation of how well the local fire department can protect a community from fire and other disasters. This rating system has been determined by the North Carolina Fire Marshal's Office and the North Carolina Department of Insurance. A ISO rating is measured in a scale with a scale of 1 through 10. The scale of 1 is the best rating, and a scale of 10 is the worst rating. Unfortunately, the Northwest Community of Moyock is rated a 10, the worst rating possible, due to the following negative factors. The first negative factor, there's others, but the 2 main negative factors, the reason why we have been classified as having poor fire protection is, number 1, the majority of Northwest community housing is located more than 5 miles from the nearest community fire station, which is the present Moyock Volunteer Fire Department. And again, I'm not criticizing our fire department because they do a great job, but the need is there. That's why I'm here tonight. The second negative factor why we have been classified as having poor fire protection, there's no public water system, water lines available on Northwest Backwoods Road and the majority of South Mills Road. No water supply to fight fires, no fire hydrants. As a result of poor fire protection ratings, citizens living in the Northwest community of Moyock Township for years have had to pay 20 to 50% higher homeowners insurance premiums annually than other areas of Moyock. As we know, homeowners insurance is out the roof. And I just heard July that they're proposing to up it again.
Mr. Hobbs,
Yes.
I just want to let you know, the staff has been instructed to find a piece of property for a fire department.
Yes, sir.
And they have identified a couple pieces, and they will be bringing something to us for this year's budget to resolve this issue.
Amen. Thank you, sir. But in conclusion, thank you, sir. It's time for the board to act, and it sounds like you are acting. And that's but as you can see, with 3 years, patience is running out, and y'all y'all are moving forward, and again, we really appreciate it. And
And we expect to have something presented to us in the budget this year to address this issue.
Yep. and
I
get
know
moving on it.
government takes a long time, but
It's horrible, but we're doing the best we can.
you're doing the best you can. And again, you've answered a lot of my questions, and I thank you for what you're doing. And please let me know when you get more news and information.
We watch the budget this year.
Oh, boy.
All
Okay.
right.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Hobbs.
Thank you
Next
for
we
listening
have-
to me for the last 3 years. Thank you.
You're getting good at it. Next is Kate Kazani.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm good. If you could give your name and address for the record.
Certainly, thank you. Kate Kazani, Cozzani, 2369 Ocean Sands, up in Corolla, actually up in the 4x4. So it took us a little bit over 2 hours to get here today, but we appreciate the opportunity, and we wanted to see you all in person, putting a face to a name. But really, I wanted to say thank you for providing the e-access so that residents, my neighbors, can watch the county board meetings now. So that was really what I wanted to tell you all tonight. Thank you. So that we can learn and hear what's going on in our county, as we are literally physically really far away. So thank you.
Geography is always a challenge here.
It certainly is, but again, technology is bringing us closer together.
We thank you for making that long ride just to tell us that.
Yep.
And if you're not busy at the next meeting, if you could come again to tell us something good.
I'm logging in next time. So
But we thank you so much.
thank you though.
All right, that's all I have signed up. Was there anyone else that wished to speak that did not sign up? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment and move to our first administrative report, the annual audit presentation by Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. And I believe we have our finance director here as well. She can do introductions, maybe? Okay.
No, that's fine, thank you.
All right. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Good evening. I hope you guys are all doing well tonight. I'm Madonna Stafford with Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. I'm in charge of the county's audit again this year. First, I just want to point out, we do not have a finalized audit at this point, so I'm here today presenting from a draft and what we expect to happen. We are very close to finalizing and hope to get everything submitted in the next week or two. At this point, we don't expect any changes to numbers, findings, anything like that I'll be sharing. But if there is some sort of change, I will be back before you with an update to discuss that as well. So first off, I'd just like to start out by always recapping what we were engaged to do and then what our objectives were. And for the county, that's really two parts. First is to come in and do a financial statement audit on the county's financial statements as a whole, and then give an opinion on whether those financial statements are materially correct. We conducted our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards, and I'm pleased to say we intend to issue an unmodified opinion on the financial statements for June 30, 2025. Essentially, this means it's a clean opinion. We found nothing materially wrong. And then for our second part of the engagement, we come in and we do a compliance audit over all federal and state major programs, and then express an opinion on whether the county was in compliance with all direct and material compliance requirements related to those awards. Very simple terms, for a major federal program, you're looking at programs with expenditures over $750,000. Major state programs are programs over $500,000 for the fiscal year. So for county fiscal year 2025, we had one major federal program on the federal side, and that was medical assistance. For the state, we had two major programs. That was state aid to airport, and then the wastewater reserve grant program for the wastewater treatment plant construction. That was our three major programs this year. Tested all three, and I'm pleased to say that we did issue an unmodified opinion on all three grant projects this year. So again, that essentially means it was a clean opinion. We found no noncompliance to report, and there were no question costs noted within the projects. Moving on, I'll spend just a quick minute and point out a few of your financial highlights to kind of recap the year for you. Net position for the county in total this year increased $40.3 million. Of that amount, $37.4 million was related to your governmental activities, and then the remaining $2.9 million was on your proprietary or water and sewer funds. This was just a little bit better than what we had for fiscal year 24, up about $2.5 million because 24 was at $37.5 million in total, so we did hit that $40 million mark this year. So just a little bit of difference there. Primary factors with this increase over this year, your revenues for the governmental activities increased in total $10.7 million. The majority of that was on your property taxes, which was about $8.2 million of it, with the rate increase in valuations there. Another $900,000 related to charges for services. There was an increase there for rate increases that had happened throughout the year. And then about $500,000 in your investment earnings also increased there. There was about a $1.1 million increase in your water and sewer revenue as well, again related to those rate increases, and then some consumption increases as well. Expenditure side also increased in relation to this increase in revenues for about $9 million this year. Largest increases there were on your general government. That was $1 million. Public safety was $1.7 million increase. Education, $1.6 million increase. And then $1.5 million increase on your water and sewer. Those were kind of the big changes there. Other than that, most other areas did stay the same with only minor changes between last year and this year. Next item I'd like to take a look at will be your general fund. Obviously, that's the most important fund for the county because that's kind of the beginning source for all of your basic services and a big funding source for other things that are coming up. Your fund balance this year increased $9.4 million. Again, these increases here are going to be very similar to what we saw just a minute ago on the government-wide, with your property taxes being up $8.2 million, charges for services up a little bit. Expenditures in the general fund, between expenditures and transfers, those increased about $3 million this year. A lot of that is going to be related, again, to your general government, your public safety, education, a small uptick there with debt service payments this year as well. Last thing kind of related to the general fund I want to touch on is your available fund balance for the general fund. Unassigned fund balance for fiscal year 25 was $48.1 million, and that's going to be 72% of your expenditures for the year within the general fund. Really, that number is a great measure of the county's reserves as they're planning for future projects and how much of that can be funded from those reserves. That number really is telling you that the county could probably stay in business another 9 months with no new revenues and still maintain the same level of service. So you're in great shape as far as your reserves there, and what the LGC kind of recommends as a minimum of 3 to 6 months for a county level. So you guys are in really good shape with that again this year.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What you said that what the state wants 3 to 6 months minimum of the reserves. What's our current?
You're at 9 months.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The minimum that they recommend is 8%, but for a county, it's really more in that 3 to 6 month range. But you
And
guys
we don't have
are
any
at 9.
municipalities too, so.
Right.
And we get hurricanes.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That can change everything. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll just take a little bit of a minute and look at your proprietary funds again, just a little bit closer look at that. Your net position in total for those increased $2.9 million this year. Revenues, $1.1 million increase, and that was related to rate increases, and then just a small uptick in consumption. Expenditures increased $2.8 million to go along with this revenue increase. That was $1.2 million related to solid waste because you expanded services in another convenience location there. And then the remaining $1.6 million was related to your water and sewer. Primary increases there were related to personnel expenses, related benefits, professional fees, operating costs, those sort of things. Is kind of what drove that increase there. And then kind of the last area I was going to spend some time on were your findings in the audit this year. So our first finding was late audit submission. That's noncompliance with North Carolina General Statute 159-34A. That requires your audit to be submitted within 6 months of year end. Obviously, we're a little bit past that, so we are deficient in that this year and have a noncompliance to report. That's primarily just related to a change in staffing within, the finance department and that sort of thing. That was a major undertaking this year. So we just needed more time to get through things, to work through it, gather information, become more familiar with the system there. As far as the single audit side, we did have a little bit of a slowdown there this year as well, kind of related to that, because there was a delay in the compliance supplements coming out from the federal government when they were shut down. So we didn't actually get compliance supplements till probably early December this year, whereas normally that gets out July, August, somewhere in that time frame. So that also kind of pushed everything back and made it a little bit more difficult this year. The second second finding that we have is noncompliance with your secondary market disclosure filing related to the limited obligation bonds. That requires a secondary market disclosure filing uploaded to the EMMA database every year by January 31st. And that filing requires a copy of the audit to go in. So since we didn't have an audit available, that automatically kind of pushed the EMMA filing back as well. So those are very closely related. Compliance side, the third finding that we had this year was on the medical assistance program. There was a technical finding related to some contracts that were in place for services. Just part of the contract, if it's a contract in place to purchase services, there's about 8 or 9 different addendums that are required to be part of that contract. And in our testing work, we tested 3 contracts. Of one of those did not have the required addendums. Not sure why, it just wasn't there. But there was no question cost related to this. All of the costs incurred were fully reimbursed under the program and fully allowed. So that's why it's not a non-compliance finding, it's just a technical violation. So all of the findings that we've just discussed, those will require a written response to the LGC with your corrective action and then timeline of when that will be implemented. And that will be due 45 days after the audit is submitted. So you do have a little bit of time to kind of compose that and get that together. Once we finalize the audit, kind of next step for us will be getting the audit finalized and submitted within the next week or so. You guys will get your final bound reports to go over and review. And certainly if there's anything that's different between what I'm presenting tonight and your final bound reports, we'll come back with another update and discuss that as well. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to go over those.
Questions?
So, I mean, the looks of what you have and what you've received so far, everything looks legit, clean. I believe you said a clean audit?
Yes, clean audit.
Okay.
That's what we're
I just want the
expecting.
people that are watching at home or
The timing
Facebookers.
issue is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, finance, Sandra retired, and they've had a lot of new people, but at the end of
Absolutely.
the day, the audit's clean for the people watching at home, so
Absolutely,
they know
yes.
everything's on the up and up, and
Yes.
they can not complain on Facebook or something, whatever. So that's where I was going with that angle.
I think that's gonna fix it.
Are there any associated penalties for the findings?
No. The only one that potentially could have any sort of ramifications going forward really would be the EMMA filing. That's a 5-year, once you're late, then it stays on your record for 5 years. It could potentially, impact future bond ratings, but that's very much on a case-by-case basis, whether they tend to look at that and assess that penalty or not. But that's really the ramifications as to what could happen.
And even if like you're saying on that, like if we got stuff late because not, I mean, and we get penalized because we didn't get stuff because the government shut down?
Right. I mean, all of that is very much taken into consideration. I mean, I really think the bond rating is much more related to repeat offenders that are on that list every year, every year.
And we haven't been that in.
Exactly.
Yes,
You guys
okay.
are not in that case at all. So I would say the possibility of that, I would say, is kind of limited.
Any other questions?
That's it for me. Thank you.
Staff have any questions, comments?
We keep the power on.
All right, we thank you.
All right. Thank you much.
And we look forward to the final report.
Yes, it'll be coming shortly.
All right.
Thank you, Karen.
Next item on the agenda is our Chamber President, Juanita Kraus, to do a presentation on the North Carolina tier system and some proposed reforms.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I don't know if you've received, but I have actually updated the language in the original resolution that I presented to you. And
We have it.
I actually made copies if you need those. But what that really, the reason why I did that was because one, I want to get us to be more aligned. I want us to use them to do modernization numbers. And I also really researched how many times that before the board, before legislation that the tier system was requested to be changed, and it was a lot, many times over the past 30, 40 years. So with that being said, I felt that we need to do more of an alignment of what we need to talk about. I want to thank you for being here. My name is Juanita Kraus. I am with the Currituck Chamber. And I am here to, I actually brought a presentation. I don't know if we can get that up. If we can't, that's okay. Sure. Thank you. Okay. Is that ready to go, or do I need to? Okay. So I am here to discuss I call it the success tax, and I think it was appropriate for me to come right behind our audit system because I believe Currituck County is responsible. This responsibility is actually costing us, and I'll explain more what I'm saying here. But I'm here to discuss how the North Carolina tier system hurts Currituck County. We're not here, this presentation is about a structural problem, not a political complaint. Currituck County is really, we punch far above our, okay, this isn't on for everybody else. Can you see this, or is this?
We can see it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Currituck County really punches far above their weight economically, yet the state really ranks us as though we never need any help. The more Currituck grows and succeeds, the more we are penalized. And I just really want that to sink in. Currituck sends anywhere between $85 to $110 million to Raleigh every year. And this is broke down for state sales tax, tourism related, and income tax. We are a net exporter of wealth. Most of our revenue does flow to Raleigh, but it is not coming back to us in local infrastructure. Our roads, pipes, and emergency services that make all this economic activity possible are worn down. In the state, we do need state help. This tier system was created in 1987. It's also known as the William S. Lee Act. It was a narrow tool for manufacturing credits, tax credits. and no one imagined that it would eventually morph into what we are today. Today, it controls 15-plus state programs, and that's anywhere from health care system. And then I have to say, why are we labeled this way? This is a pseudo number trap that we're in. Over $1 billion in House inflates the county's apparent growth, but that wealth belongs to out-of-state homeowners. Thousands of residents commute to Virginia. Their salaries count as Currituck's income, but Virginia keeps the revenue. The result of this data Raleigh uses to judge Currituck is fundamentally disconnected from the lived experience of year-round mainland residents. The geographic cost and the small county math trap. Building on the peninsula, which I mean the beach, is higher cost. The wetlands are harder. It's stable soil is not. It's much harder and much more costly for us to build in Corolla and Corova. Then we go to the Moyock and the mainland. This is where growth is actually happening, and it has nothing to do with tourism. Moyock is the fastest growing community, and it's driven entirely by its proximity to Hampton Roads in the metro area of Virginia. The mainland corridor is absorbing thousands of new residents every year in the past 10 years. But the roads, the water lines, and the sewer system have not kept pace. This growth without infrastructure and the Tier 3 labeling guarantees no state help is available to build it. The small county math trap. Currituck gets labeled high growth, then denied the very grants needed to manage that growth. Currituck generates $85 million to $110 million for Raleigh annually, while Moyock's explosive growth, unmet, and the Tier 3 labels lock us out of every grant that can help us. The result of Currituck's taxpayer is we have a $60 million school that we are 100% on our own to pay for. That success tax is a success tax in its purest form. Growth creates the legal obligation to build, but the state withholds the dollars to do it. Families, teachers, and local taxpayer pay the price for a formula that does not see them accurately. It is not fair. And I am lost in my, here we go, slides. Tourism is the engine of Currituck's economy, and it brings a genuine strain on local services. More visitors means more calls for EMS, more wear on the roads, more demand for water and sewer capacity. The state collects unrestricted taxes from every one of those visitors and keeps it. Meanwhile, Currituck's own occupancy tax, the money collected from vacation rentals, is legally restricted to tourism promotion only. It cannot be used for EMS, staffing, law enforcement, or infrastructure. The state gets the money and we get the obligation. And Camden County is just the other side of this broken coin. Camden proves the tier system fails in two complete different ways. Camden County sits right next door to us, and it could not be more different economically, and it yet carries the exact same tier rating. Little tourism, no vacation rentals, no hospitality whatsoever, no education institutions, no significant industry, and no commercial tax base. A majority of residents commute to Virginia, Norfolk, and Elizabeth City. Virginia, again, collects the income taxes on those paychecks, and Camden sees very little. What Tier 3 does cost Camden is commuter wages inflate the county's apparent wealth in this formula that they use, but the revenue stays in Virginia. We are two counties with two entirely different economics, both harmed by this broken yardstick. But there's good news. The real bill moving forward, there are bills that are moving forward right now that can help fix some of these problems that we have. We have HB 649. That is a study mandate. It directs the UNC researchers to redesign the tier formula. It must account for infrastructure burden and construction costs, things that the 1987 formula ignored entirely. We also have Senate Bill 557, and that's the bifurcate bill. It separates water, sewer, and health programs from the tier system entirely. We also have HB 909, the State Infrastructure Bank. It creates low-interest loan programs for water and sewer infrastructure. Supported by the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce, this is a pro-business, pro-growth solution. It allows Currituck to fund major utilities expansion without relying on the tier-based grants. Again, I just want to make it sure that we're not asking for special treatment within the state. We are asking them to accurately look at our numbers. Again, we want to, actually, the UNC NC impact, we're not alone with this problem. This is really throughout the state. However, the UNC, they impact initiative and the North Carolina growth, UNC School of Government confirmed the tier system methodology produces categorizations almost meaningless, and it's far, far beyond its original intent of what this bill originally was for. It is truly morphed. So I'm asking us to join Currituck and Camden and do a regional effort to fix this formula. We want them to fund the infrastructure, align the state rankings with the coastal reality that we have. Really, when you think about it, a mile of sewer and a mile of water in Corolla, and you compare it, the cost to what it would cost in Wake County, for instance, it's a complete different cost. We want the state to take that into consideration. It is not something that is considered. So we're just looking for a fairness. However, it's something that we really have to move forward with, and we need a true plan to do that. So what we would like to do is we'd like to create the North Carolina Coastal Infrastructure Coalition. That's with Currituck County, Camden County, and the Currituck Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce Board has already passed a resolution, and what we will do is we will present that to our state officials after we go through and get the resolutions from Camden and here at Currituck. So we want to do a local adoption, and we want to get that voted on. And then, of course, I will be presenting to the Camden Board on May 4th. we want to do state lobbying. The North Carolina Chamber, we've been in contact with them, and they are willing to help us with this effort. The HB 909 petition for project-specific evaluations and advocate for a 2026 statewide infrastructure agenda. Number 3, media and public, I'd say public education. I don't want to say public pressure. I really think that the tier system is complicated, and it is not something that it's one day to really figure out. It's going to take an education of people understanding that Currituck is responsible. We have been responsible. There are so many ways that we can't really. You can't say no to subdivisions when they're actually within the legal limits of what you can do. We have the state that mandates us to do and to follow that law. So, and we could go more into detail. Again, this is public education. We really need people to understand that that there's so much more to this tier system. So we want to do a grassroots public campaign. We want to get in touch with the NC Impact Initiative, and they specifically work with public officials to provide the data-driven research we need to influence the state policy, the state-level policy. We also want to meet with our pro temp, and I know that right now we're in a kind of waiting period to see what happens with our state government, but we could start by working with who's here in front of us. Again, the federal level, we have Senator Tillis, Bud Davis, and Representative Ward. We can get them to help us align the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and the Economic Development Administration. The EDA is a federal agency under the U.S. Department of Commerce that provides grants to help economically distressed communities attract investment and create jobs. We are two different worlds when you talk about Corolla and you talk about the mainland, and the mainland does not have a representation as the true numbers. So we do want to align these numbers and get the state to look at us. Currituck and Camden are a model. Rural coastal counties whose real economic distress are masked by the vacation values. We are asking the state and the federal government to recognize the structural inequities and fix it. The tier system was built in 1987, and they were for the 1987 problems. We are building this coalition for problems happening right now, and we need you to be part of it. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? So
Fantastic presentation.
we need to adopt this new resolution tonight as a substitute for the one that we were given earlier.
We would like that. Now, if you want to review it and look at it and you think that we can make it stronger, but again, the reason why I did do that, there's a lot more included, and I have to say that we have to speak Raleigh language.
Yeah.
And-
They can't even pass a budget. We're the
Well,
only state out of 50.
We'll have to adopt this at our next meeting since we just
And I'm
received
fine
it.
with that. I'd like you, but please review it, and yeah, that would be fine. That is fine.
Just a couple of comments. You did a great presentation. You've got a great strategy here, but a couple of comments about the tier system. It's my understanding North Carolina is the only state in the United States that has the tier system.
That is correct.
It's also, it is done in such a way that 10 counties have to be tier 3. It can't be 5, can't be 1 or 2. They pick 10. Currituck and Camden are compared to Charlotte, Mecklenburg, Wake County, and all the large counties that have hundreds of thousands of millions of population. They have municipalities. They have all the things that Camden and us don't have. And they throw us into that same mix, which is just anybody with a conscience in Raleigh should not allow that to happen. But we're on the right path, and the board's going to support this wholeheartedly, and whatever we need to do to follow through with this, we'll do that. And we'll adopt this resolution at the next meeting. If anybody else has questions or comments.
Camden has just become a Tier 3, correct?
Yes.
So they were lucky enough to get, what, 60, 70 million for a new school?
They did. They did. That just got that under the wire. But again, we also have a retail leakage here. When we have so many people that work in Virginia, they're spending their money in Virginia. If we are able to get the infrastructure here and get businesses to come here who want to be here, but they're hindered by that infrastructure. If you're not lucky enough to get a standing structure here in Currituck, the cost is prohibitive. And that's why we're not seeing businesses come here. And this is not anyone's fault, but the fact that we are we're judged by a system that is a pseudo system.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
very unfortunate. How long have we been a Tier 3? Since it was initiated? Or?
Pretty much.
No,
We
in
started
the
off in
90s.
1987 as a Tier 5.
Tier 5.
And we've been higher, the highest tier. I think we dropped down maybe 1 year, but we've been a Tier 3. We have done a lot on our own, but I don't know if we can continue to keep up with the costs that without the state's help. We should have their help. We provide quite a bit. And you think about it. You think about Charlotte. Charlotte's got the banking system, the businesses. The businesses do help with this. For the sales tax, one food line, say out in Corolla, they're able to create enough funds to actually be the budget of a small county. So it's important that we start looking at this because we are in a position right now that we really do need the state to come in and just treat us fairly. Thank you.
The system is definitely broken.
It is broken, and I thank you for the presentation. I think the tier system lacks nuance, right? And I think that this is what we're asking for, is to add some nuance and perspective, not one size fits all. I don't know how many of you have actually seen the tier rankings. They rank each county on a set of criteria. I believe it's 4 criteria. They rank all 100 counties in North Carolina for each one of those criteria, and then the ones that kind of fall to the top 10, you're Tier 3, no questions asked. So a small county like Currituck really gets punished. One of the criteria is population growth. So it's a straight arithmetic percentage.
Yeah.
Right? So a small county, you get 100, 200 new residents. In a small county like Currituck, it puts us all the way up at the top as a percentage of
That's right.
growth. So
Yes.
it really hurts us. And so, this nuance is necessary, and doing nothing is not an option. So I thank you for the presentation.
Unless you're Raleigh.
Yeah, unless you're Raleigh.
Well, not for us, there's just not an option.
Yeah.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
We thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next item is new business. Resolution authorize execution of opioid settlement, 6 remnant defendants.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The new national opioid settlement has been reached with 6 regional distributors, dispenser defendants, including Associated Pharmacies, Inc., J.M. Smith Corporation, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company, Inc., Morrison Dixon Company, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company, Inc., and United Natural Foods, Inc. These are known as the 6 remnant defendants. Pursuant to the memorandum of agreement, the board is required to adopt a resolution for us to join those settlements. And that is the resolution before you tonight, and I would recommend approval.
Move for approval.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2 is board appointments. We have for the Whalehead Subdivision Improvement Stormwater Advisory Consensus, Ron Litz to fill the unexpired term ending January 30th. And then for the Whalehead Advisory Board, we have the Tourism Advisory Board, we have Brooke Mayo. We have a motion for approval.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 3 is consent agenda. We have a motion for approval.
Move for approval.
Have a motion. Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item, Commissioners' Report. Mr. McCord. No, Mr. Braithwaite.
Oh, I get to go first.
I'm giving you time to think of something.
Yeah, I'd like to report on last week's Albemarle Regional Planning Organization meeting with the transportation committees where we, Ms. Gay and myself were there present for that deliberation with the regional counties over the Mid-Currituck Bridge. Just wanted to make it clear to everyone that the vote that was undertaken at that meeting was not a vote to build the bridge or not to build the bridge. The options that were presented to us were to continue on the same current funding and planning path that we're on right now, albeit with a very significant funding gap associated with it. Or the other option was to throw the project back into the next STIP, which starts in May, I believe. And so the state DOT needed us to make a decision on that very quickly. And I think we've talked about this previously. The information was presented to us in February of the budget shortfall on the or the funding shortfall on this bridge. So really not a lot of time to digest what that means, what options there are available. At this point, the only options available are to continue to pursue some additional federal funding. No guarantees there, but that short time frame for when we were provided the information and when we had to make a decision on which one of these pathways to follow with DOT was short. So just wanted to explain to everyone kind of what that vote was and what that was all about. So that's all I have for now.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McCord?
Attended last week the airport. Williams doing an amazing job out there. The new hangar, I like how they explain how the funds that we received, where it's costing the county taxpayer nothing, how the airport's growing. The airport used to be a loser, now it's a winner. Williams knocking it out of the park. He kills it. Like I said, we live in a great place. I'll say it again. I think I got 13 more of these and I'll be done and I'm not going to miss it. So that is it for me. Everybody stay safe. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Angel?
I got nothing.
I was wrong.
Ms. Rose?
I agree with what Mr. McCord said, Commissioner McCord, about the visit to the airport. Hats off to William. He's doing a fabulous job. And I would like to ask that we get an update at the next meeting on our drainage contract progress.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Payment?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Jarvis?
I'll echo my appreciation of our airport director, William Nelson. It was very exciting to see the new T hangars, very exciting to see Elizabeth City State's progress out there. So thank you for the tour and the information. I attended the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Property Tax Zoom meeting on April 9th, along with 236 other participants across the state. Among the most pressing issues are the attempts by our North Carolina General Assembly to strip taxing power from local governments, as well as their power to zone and control growth and to make decisions on behalf of their citizens, not on behalf of Raleigh. Their actions will have a detrimental effect on our community as we struggle already with lack of funding due to the tier system that we just heard about, as well as the fact that we are the only state in the entire nation operating without a budget. Today, I forwarded to our members of this board the NCACC's resolution, and I strongly encourage us, along with all other 99 Board of Commissioners, to adopt that to stop the power grab and undermining of local authorities. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to recognize and thank all my fellow board members. Each of you serve on different boards other than just the twice-a-month meetings. You're out in the community doing things that most people don't even realize, and away from your homes and work. And I just want to say thank you and recognize you for all the boards and the information that you gather for us and the things that you do for the county. And that's all I have. With that, I'll go to the county manager for her report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. Just wanted to point out that, we didn't meet last week, but last week was National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So just wanted to recognize those folks. And I know they were celebrated, and we certainly appreciate everything they do. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Madam Attorney?
No report.
All right. We need a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A5 to establish or instruct county staff concerning position to be taken by or on behalf of the county in negotiating the material terms of contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase or exchange to be used for any public purpose. The property is owned by Corova Sands LLC and West Beach Properties LLC and consists of 5 parcels totaling 43.2 acres plus or minus acres on Ocean Pearl Road, Corolla, NC, and I'm not going to read all the pins.
I make a motion that we go into closed session.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We are now in closed session.